how to trick your brain into liking hard things. In this explainer, we're going to break down how you can finally stick with those things, the ones you should be doing. And we're going to do it by getting into the science of your own brain.
I mean, it's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? Why is it so hard to stick to new habits? You start a new workout, maybe a new diet, or a new study routine. You've got all the motivation in the world. And then, a week later, poof, you're right back at square one. What is going on?
Okay, so right off the bat, I want you to hear this. If you've struggled with this, it is not your fault. Seriously, this isn't about some kind of character flaw or you just not having enough willpower.
Nope. The real reason it's so difficult is because there's this fundamental conflict, a mismatch between your brain's ancient wiring and the crazy world we live in today. And I'm not just being poetic here. This is a straight-up neurobiological fact.
So let's get into it. Your brain isn't lazy. It's just, it's running on some really, really old software. Think of it like trying to run the latest video game on a computer from the 90s. There's a massive design conflict going on in your head.
Okay, look at this comparison. On one side, you've got your hunter-gatherer brain. This thing was designed over thousands of years for one main purpose: survival. That means conserve energy whenever possible and seek out immediate rewards like food or safety. But then, you've got the modern world. It demands the exact opposite, doesn't it? Constant productivity, delayed gratification for these big long-term goals. Your brain is basically a finely tuned survival machine that's been dropped into an office park. It's a system designed for a world that just doesn't exist anymore.
And this massive design conflict? It leads directly to this core principle that pretty much governs all of our daily choices. You've heard of it, I'm sure. The path of least resistance.
And this isn't some flaw you developed. It's a feature, not a bug, of that old hunter-gatherer software. The scientific term for it is cognitive ease. See, your brain uses up a ton of energy. It's a real energy hog. So to be efficient, its default setting is always to pick the easiest option, the one that requires the least mental energy. It's not about being lazy, it's about being efficient.
I love this quote. It really frames the problem perfectly. We treat our willpower like it's this infinite resource, right? But it's so much more like your phone battery. You wake up, you're at 100%. But every single decision you make, what to wear, what to eat, whether to hit snooze, it drains that battery bit by bit. So trying to just power through a hard week on willpower alone, that's like expecting your phone to last a full week on one charge. It's just not going to happen.
So, if willpower is just a battery that's going to run out, what's the solution? Well, we need a charger, right? We need to stop fighting our brain's basic nature and start building systems that actually work with it. This is the whole key, designing for success instead of just hoping for it.
And this brings us to such a powerful idea, often credited to author James Clear. Check this out. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Think about that. When your willpower battery is dead, when you're tired and stressed, you don't magically rise to the occasion. No, you fall back on whatever is easiest. Your system. That's your safety net.
Which leads us to this really cool concept called choice architecture. It's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of fighting your brain day in and day out, you become the architect of your own environment. You intentionally design your world to make the right choices the easiest choices.
Let me give you a perfect, super simple example, a case study from a cafeteria. So they wanted people to drink more water. Now, the water was available, but it was kind of hidden away in a fridge in the corner. You had to look for it. So what do? They just moved the water. They put it in a big bucket of ice right at the front, right next to all the soda. And guess what happened? Water sales shot up. They didn't need a big motivational campaign, no posters, no guilt trips. They just made the right choice, the easiest choice.
Okay, so that's great for a cafeteria, but how do we become choice architects in our own lives, right? Well, it all comes down to a really practical, actionable toolkit. It's based on 4 simple but super powerful laws of change.
And one of the core techniques here is something called habit stacking. Look, the hardest part of any new habit is just starting it. So what you do is you stack it or anchor it to a habit you already do automatically without even thinking. For example, meditating for 1 minute right after you brush your teeth. Your brain already has this super highway built for brushing teeth. All you're doing is adding a tiny little exit ramp to that existing route. It's brilliant.
Okay, so here they are, the 4 laws of behavior change that make it all work. First up, make it obvious. Don't just plan to go for a run. Put your running shoes right by your bed so you literally trip over them in the morning. Number 2, make it attractive. Pair a habit you need to do with something you want to do. Maybe you only let yourself listen to your favorite podcast when you're on the treadmill. Number 3, and this is crucial, make it easy. Your new habit has to start with a 2-minute version. Don't commit to reading a chapter, commit to reading 1 page. And finally, number 4, make it satisfying. Remember that hunter-gatherer brain? It craves immediate rewards. So track your progress, put an X on a calendar. Give yourself that little hit of satisfaction.
All right, this last part, this is the real secret sauce. This is what makes the change actually stick for the long haul. It's about shifting your focus away from what you're doing and onto who you're becoming.
Think about it like this. True, lasting behavior change is really identity change. Every single time you perform one of these tiny habits, you're casting a vote for the type of person you wish to become. These aren't just small actions. They're little pieces of evidence you're feeding your brain, proving that you are, in fact, this new type of person.
So, reading for just 2 minutes, that's not just about building a reading habit. No. It's casting a vote that says, I am a reader. Going for a 5-minute walk isn't just exercise, it's a vote for I am a healthy person. Meditating for 1 minute, that's a vote for I am a calm and mindful person. You see, you're not just doing things, you are literally building proof of your new identity one tiny action at a time.
So that's where we'll leave it, with a question for you. I want you to forget about the big, scary, intimidating goals for just a minute. Based on everything we just talked about, what is the first, tiny, almost laughably easy vote you can cast today for the person you want to become?